What's up everybody? Right now it is the holiday season in Stockholm, Sweden, which means first of all, it gets dark super early. Right now the sunset is around 2:50 in the afternoon, so the days are extremely short and it starts to get dark even before that. So even like 1:30, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, it's already starting to get dark and you're just like, wow, this is insane. Even after living in Sweden for 3 years, this is still very crazy to me. But I was thinking about holidays because I just celebrated Thanksgiving with some of my American friends here in Stockholm, and that's something that they do not really celebrate here in Sweden. So I got to thinking, what are some holiday traditions that are different between America and Sweden? And I've got a list of 6 of them right here. The first difference, as I alluded to in the intro, is Thanksgiving. They do not celebrate Thanksgiving here in Sweden, and Thanksgiving is actually one of my personal favorite holidays. Thanksgiving is sort of like the more chill version of Christmas, in my opinion, because you have great food, there's American football on TV on Thanksgiving Day, and you're just spending time with people you care about and your family. What more do you need in a holiday? Family, food, and football? I'm a happy guy. But what makes it even better are some of the types of food that we eat on Thanksgiving. Traditionally, you've got turkey, stuffing, which is my favorite. Then you've got your mashed potatoes, cranberries, all sorts of things. But another one of my personal favorites is the pumpkin pie for dessert. Americans use the pumpkin flavor a lot more than Swedes. For example, with coffee, you've got pumpkin spice lattes, which are also amazing, but they don't really do pumpkin stuff as much here in Sweden. And so when I was looking at trying to buy a pumpkin pie for my friend's Thanksgiving party that we were throwing, there's no place in Sweden where you can really get a hold of a pumpkin pie. Luckily, I went to the American store here in Stockholm and bought some canned pumpkin and actually made my own pumpkin pie, which I'm not really a baker normally, but I think it still turned out pretty good. So yeah, no Thanksgiving in Sweden, but I think they make up for it because they've got midsummer in the summertime, and that's also a great holiday. So let's change gears here and talk about the next difference in the holiday season, and this is a holiday that they have in Sweden, but not in America. And I'm talking about Lucia. Lucia is sort of a interesting holiday. It's like Saint Lucia, basically. Maybe there's a few people that might celebrate this in America, but I had never heard of it before coming to Sweden. And it's sort of a big deal here, which is kind of funny to think about because I'm actually not 100% sure why they celebrate it. I think it has something to do with like it being dark and lighting up the darkness. And doing the research for this video, apparently Saint Lucia was somebody that lived a long time ago that people thought was a witch. And they basically sentenced her to death, even though she wasn't really a witch. I'm not really sure. But basically, what they do in Sweden is they have a procession of people holding candles, and the Saint Lucia, the person that's playing that role, usually has a candle on their head. I don't think they use real candles anymore, especially when you're at like schools and stuff, because just seems quite dangerous, to be honest. Another thing, I'm not sure if this is connected to the Lucia Day here in Sweden, but it's something that's always happening at the same time, and these are called lussebullar, and it's basically like a saffron bun, if you were to translate it into English. These are really good pastries, and shout out to the Lillebror bakery here in Stockholm. They are absolutely amazing. I had a lussebulla with almond and almond paste on top. It was amazing. The only thing is, a lot of people love this place, so if you try to go there on a weekend, you might have to wait in line for a very long time. This is not sponsored, just a pro tip if you're in Stockholm and you want some great bakery treats. For point number 3, let's stick with the food and drinks and talk about some things that they drink in Sweden that they do not drink in America, and vice versa. In Sweden, they have a great holiday drink. We would call it mulled wine in English, but it's not very common in America, like at all. I don't know of anybody that would really do it. In Swedish, it's called glögg. Now, basically, it's like a sweet wine that you serve warm. And in Germany, they have the exact same thing, except they don't call it glögg, they call it glühwein. And one difference I think that's actually interesting between glühwein in Germany and glögg in Sweden is that in Sweden, a lot of times, they'll add like nuts and berries to the glögg, and I've never really seen anybody do that with glühwein in Germany. Although there is a special liqueur in Germany called Ficken. I'm not going to say what that means here on this channel, but it starts with an F and you can probably put 2 and 2 together. But basically you can order a drink in Germany that's a Ficken Glühwein that has the schnapps inside the Glühwein. It's very good. But I was surprised because when I was in Germany last time and I ordered this at a Christmas market, it also came with a condom. And I was like, what's this for? And the guy giving me the Glühwein was like, trust me, after one of these, you're gonna need it. I don't think I needed it. Although we don't really drink glögg in America, one holiday drink that we do have that I absolutely love is eggnog. I'm not actually 100% sure what eggnog is, but I think it's something with like milk, egg, cream, and sugar, and it's just all sort of mixed together. It's like a very, very sweet dairy drink. And they also have an alcoholic version where it's like bourbon with the eggnog, and you have some nutmeg and cinnamon on top, and it's really good. For point number 4, let's stay in the food and beverage category once again. This is about gingerbread. Now in Sweden, they have gingerbread. They call it pepparkakor. And in America, we have gingerbread and we call it gingerbread. But there is a difference because in America, I think people like to put a lot more frosting on their gingerbread, whereas here, people will oftentimes just eat the gingerbread completely plain. They also like to decorate gingerbread houses in both countries, but one thing that I think is much more common in America is decorating the gingerbread men. Maybe some people do that in Sweden, but I think it's more common in America. And actually every year we would go to my grandparents' house and decorate gingerbread men. There would be a theme, so we'd decorate our gingerbread person as like a famous actor if the theme was actors, or a famous superhero if the theme was superheroes. And then everybody would have to guess who those gingerbread people were. That was sort of just a fun little thing in my family, but it's interesting because even though both countries have pepparkakor or gingerbread, they still have subtle differences in the ways they consume it. Now let's get to my absolute favorite part of Christmas in Sweden, and that is the JULBORD. Now remember when I was talking about in Thanksgiving how every year for Thanksgiving it's the same food, there's usually the turkey, stuffing, mashed potatoes, all these things. Well, in Sweden, they have the same food every year for Christmas at the JULBORD. It's very, very traditional. They usually have a Christmas ham, salmon, herring, a lot of the similar foods, meatballs, of course. How could I forget the meatballs? Those are very, very important. But if you want to find out something that you should absolutely not do at a Swedish JULBORD, check out the video right here, I think, or maybe right here. Check it out because I did this last year and learned from my mistakes. Although JULBORDs are great, there's definitely some traditions that go along with this that you want to follow. Now, I'm not sure if this was just my family, maybe other families do it differently in America, but we didn't really have a special food that we would have on Christmas every single time like they do in Sweden for Christmas or like we would do for Thanksgiving. We would just usually make something good and have a nice dinner with our family. But on an interesting side note, the holiday food that they eat in Sweden at Christmas time, they also eat the very same holiday food at Easter, at Midsummer. Pretty much all the major holidays in Sweden, they eat the exact same thing. Now the last difference I want to talk about in this video is the actual celebration. What day do people celebrate on? Because this is actually different. In Sweden, traditionally, people will celebrate Christmas on Christmas Eve. Whereas in America, a lot of times you'll do something special for Christmas Eve, but the main day to celebrate is Christmas Day. When it comes to getting presents, both countries have Santa Claus that comes overnight and gives presents to the kids. As kids, we would usually put out like some cookies or something for Santa and maybe even some carrots because we wanted to make sure that the reindeer were well fed as well. Leave a comment down below if you're from Sweden and you left carrots for the reindeer. I'm actually really curious about that. So yeah, both countries have Santa Claus. They call it tomten here in Sweden. And I think that's pretty much an international thing at this point. So with that, guys, that's gonna do it for this video. I hope you found these 6 things interesting, the subtle differences. The 2 cultures both celebrate Christmas, but there are just some little subtle things at Christmas time and the times around the holiday season. If you're not following me yet on this channel, smash the subscribe button. We're getting closer and closer to 100,000 subscribers. It would be really, really cool to hit that because then I'll feel like an actual legit YouTuber and get the plaque. Hit the like button, that helps me out with the YouTube algorithm so that more people can watch this video. And with that being said, stay tuned and I'll post another video soon.